back to Misfits. I'm Deb.
And my name is Kenny, and
We're the Joneses.
we're the Joneses, and we're together. You guys know that.
Yeah, I hope by now you know that. All right, so we've been gone for about 2 months.
Yeah, we've taken a break.
Yeah, we took a break, and it was a much needed one, actually.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think with everything that's going on, with COVID, and then we had the George Floyd murder, with
and
us,
others.
and others, and just everything that was going on, not only close to us but around the nation, the country. We just needed and decided to take a break. Being an interracial couple and having biracial kids, those current affairs were really affecting us.
Yes, they were.
And we really had to kind of take a step back and step away from some of the things that were not really necessary.
Yeah, and I think too, like how it affected us, it wasn't like we were not okay in our marriage, not
Sure.
to that place,
Right.
but as a family, really, because half of our kids look like they're mixed, half of them look like they're just white kids, and so just really talking in our family about what it all meant and how they felt, and from their own perspective, what was going on, and then even from you. Your perspective and how Kenny has grown up and what he's seen and been a part of himself, and just sifting through all of that. And we felt like me as a wife, first and foremost, other than just being white, to be sensitive to what my husband needed. And I think that's really important in marriages, because in marriage, the journey of it, there's so many hills and valleys, right, that we all go through in different seasons, that we need each other to support one another.
Right.
And so I really felt like I needed to support Kenny, and just everything that he was sifting through, what he wanted to give attention to, and what he felt that he needed for himself to self-care in this season. And so, we
Took a break.
we took a break.
So, and for us, it was really cool. And I think it's a good lesson, if there's anything maybe, any of you guys can pull away from this, in times of hardship or struggle, you have to really be able to make really good and great decisions for your family.
Yes.
And that's what we did. And so what we, Deb was kind of alluding to is we had great conversations with our kids,
really
around
good.
the dinner table. And, it wasn't even around the dinner table. It was wherever they kind of sparked up, everyone's on social media and things would come up, and, tensions would rise, and we just gave time and space for our kids to kind of articulate what they were going through and how it made them feel, and it was amazing.
It really was.
And not only that, we started watching, African American history on TV and movies, just to further and continue to saturate our kids with that culture that's a part of their lives. And so it was a really sweet time, hard time too, because I was getting emails and texts from people outside of our immediate community, people that we know and have come in contact with, and just my perspective on it, not only being African American, but as a pastor too, so we just made we're not apologizing that we were gone for 2 months. We're just going, sometimes this is what you need to do.
Yeah. Again, on just being a family unit, really taking time out and just cultivating a deeper relationship with each other and an understanding with one another, and sifting through some tension spots of different opinions even, and different views of what things were and how things were felt, and being able to just be really intentional with our kids and making them know that we're focused on you and us right now, and how this is really playing out in our family, in our life. So
because our kids and our family's worldview, and national view, it's important, and that's as parents, that's what we're here to do. When our kids are in our home and they're under the age of 18, we get to, what I'm saying? We get to shape their lives and speak into it. when they get 18 and over, hopefully we're invited into it. We've
Yes.
Done a good job as parents as they've grown up, that they would ask our opinion and invite us into conversations. And that's why conversations, while they're still at home, are so important. And that space and the opportunity and the freedom for them to say kind of whatever they want to say. And I had to learn how to do that, because I was raised where, if you said something, it was contrary to belief, with the adult in the family, you got like knocked out.
Well, I wouldn't get knocked out, but I was about the same. I felt that my view wasn't really heard the way that I felt that it needed to be. And so it was scary sometimes to go against the grain of parent, or have like, well, I don't know about this kind of a conversation. So we just really wanted to make our kids, and even for Kenny, I think, to wrestle with some stuff that he was going through and emotions. And even in our marriage, can I just share a little bit about that? There was, at the beginning, Kenny liked to shut down, and he was just walking around the house really irritated and frustrated. And I had like about a week into it, I'm like, hey, I have a question to ask. Like, do you wish you weren't married to a white woman, so you can actually have this conversation with somebody who understands? Because I don't understand. And I want to hear, my ears, my heart are open, but I just can't feel you. And so, because I just felt he was being really distant and cold to me. And it was just good to be able to have that hard conversation for him to be like, no, it's just me.
Yeah. And again, wherever you come from, however you've grown up, I think, this situation, I don't want to call it a situation. I mean, it's more than a situation. It's, it's a part of, our history here in America, where, racism sucks.
It does.
And the people that it affects, it's hard, it's difficult, it's hurtful. And so for me, that first week when, after, that killing, I had to process a lot of stuff. And so, I think, again, one of the things that we would love to get across just in this, and like, hey, we're back, the message, or, the point is be able to make a hard decision to pull away from some of the things that you like to do. Like, this is something that we really love to do. We're having fun, but we just didn't have time. And that's the good and the bad of having, we're not like millions of followers and camera crews and stuff like that, where, it doesn't make a difference really what's going on in the world, that they're going to have the next episode and, they're going to shoot it. That's not for us. And I think there's maybe some bad qualities to that, but there's also some good qualities too, because we get to come back after 2 weeks of being on hiatus and go, hey, this is what we needed as a family. And we can share that with you and go, sometimes you need to make the same kind of decisions. Because your family is important. Your kids are important.
And self-care is super important,
100%.
Right? And so if we don't self-care and really look within, then it's going to continue to explode in other areas that didn't need to, or hurt or injure, or we just, we'll just be super empty. And in a marriage, in a family, and leading as, mom and dad, that we need to be very careful and really protect, where we're at and what we need, And so, Kenny and I just really chose to like keep asking Kenny, is this the week? How you doing? And just checking in with him to make sure that everything where he was at, where he was comfortable about coming back on.
And now we're back.
Yes.
We're back.
We're back.
And so with that, we're going to kind of that's kind of it, right?
Yeah.
Like, here, make the hard choice to let some of the things in your life go when and put your family first, because we did. And it was amazing. The fruit that we see coming out of that season, the last 2 months, is amazing. I think we're closer as a couple, and we're closer with our kids as well.
And I would even say too, like, our kids are even closer, right?
Yep.
Because again, some of them look mixed, some of them look like white. and just how
they have their own experiences because
Yes.
of the way they look.
Yeah, and so they all got to really have a great
Chime in.
and so the relationships really got deeper.
Yeah.
It's pretty beautiful.
So choose family, choose that.
Yeah.
Let things kind of go away that aren't really like you like to do it, but they're not super important. But I would say that they're not more important than your kids and your family. Having to process the change and current events that are going on. Make room for conversations.
Yeah.
Andy Stanley, he would, say, it was so funny. I think that's kind of what got us on the road to this. But he would say, I let my kids come and talk to me about anything, and the tone doesn't matter. That's a hard one.
For you.
That's a hard one for me.
Sometimes for me
the
too.
tone. He would rather them come to him with frustrations and anger and express it that way than shut them down and them not feel that there's a safe place to have that conversation.
Yeah.
So and we had some pretty cool and amazing conversations.
Yeah, and I even say too, again, I know it's probably beating a horse, but just in a marriage, it's hard sometimes to lean into the hard. For me to even ask Kenny that question, and I don't know what he would say. I mean, I know he loves me. I know you love me. But like in certain areas of our life, sometimes it feels more vulnerable.
Sure.
And to be able to ask like the hard questions and to be able to really like allow each other to open up and to cry with each other, because that's what happened, and it's needed. It's needed to know the truth about where we are at, because sometimes our filter's wrong, and my filter was wrong. Whew, thank goodness.
I love you, baby.
Thank you. But it's like super important to be able to really ask the right questions and ask the hard questions that you might be afraid of, because
the conversation is worth it.
it is, most definitely.
Don't be afraid.
That's right.
Yeah. And so with that, we're going to step into a series or a conversation about how do we lead our families through change, because we just feel, we have kids at home and we have adult kids, and some live in our house and some live far away, and the only thing that's consistent right now is change, and so we want to talk about, what we're trying to do and implement in our family about leading our family through this season of life that we're going through.
Yeah. And I would even say too, like, change is like the new norm. Right? It's like, yes, COVID, it's like, everyone's lifting up. You can go out and go to a restaurant again, and can see other people, still confined and not confined, but social distancing and just a certain amount, but still it's like you can actually like be around people again. And then within 2 weeks it felt like it was like slam the door again, and just like that's just where our world is at, right? It's really
especially for us in California.
Yes.
Some states, again, they're different restrictions, stuff like that.
For sure.
Here in California, we got that uptick and upswing in COVID cases, and the governor is adding more restrictions and shutting it down.
But it's important, because we even know people that have gotten COVID at this time around, I would say, this swing up, and so we understand what has to take place. Not that we're going against that, but again, with the kids and starting school, there's constant change. How do we help our kids? How do we help each other in this constant change, so it's not just turmoil emotionally, that we can be more fluid and allow it to, be what it is, be what it may, and still feel like we're above the ground of it, above the water, the raging seas that we're in, right? It's like, calm water is like,
Well, and
craziness.
I'm a big guy, so treading water sucks. So, but sometimes, and again, to understand that maybe we don't have good decisions, or maybe we haven't made good decisions in this time of change, but that doesn't mean that we stop trying.
That's right.
And that doesn't mean that we stop leading our families. I think it's for us, it's easier to make a decision and lead and be wrong and go, man, that was a bad decision, and try and change it, than not make decisions at all, or not have those conversations with your wife or your kids. And so we're gonna step into this series, and again, we're just gonna kind of walk through it as we're walking through it. I mean, this is like real time stuff. So we're gonna walk through this season, you know, and I don't know how many weeks. Yeah, but how, you know, next week and maybe a couple weeks after that, we're gonna talk about how do we lead our families through change, and how do we do it well.
Yeah.
Is that cool?
That's cool.
All right. That's all I got.
That's all you got.
Yeah.
I guess that's all I got too.
So, anyways, thanks guys for joining back in. Oh, and the other thing too was, you know, we're gonna now that we're back, we're gonna be consistent. So every Monday night at 7 p.m. On Facebook and YouTube, the video will be posted. So
yeah. So we'll see you there. Thank you again for watching us and doing this dirty journey, crazy journey with us. And we hope that you guys have a fabulous week.
Right on.
Till then.